Dear students, welcome to the third session of the topic Barriers of Communication. Barriers to communication are obstacles that hinder the effective exchange of ideas, thoughts, or information between individuals or groups. These barriers can arise due to physical factors like noise and distance, language issues such as jargon or unfamiliar words, and psychological problems like stress or emotions. Cultural differences, organizational structure, and poor technology can also create misunderstanding, which most of us encounter every day. Cultural differences, additionally, filtering of messages and lack of feedback further disrupt clarity. Overcoming these barriers require active listening, clarity in speech, empathy, and choosing the right communication channels. Identifying and addressing these barriers is essential for improving overall communication effectiveness. So, this session is focusing purely to understand the barriers and which are the common barriers which every individual or the group face. Hence, communication is one of the most common and essential human activities. Perfect communication takes place when the receiver understands the message exactly in the same way the sender intends to. All of us have some at point of view. We have come across such situations while communicating. We have become aware of the importance of effective communication only when there is a breakdown in the process. But with conscious and conscientious efforts, we avoid such failures in our communication and make it more effective. Basically, the barriers are grouped into 4 or 5 categories, such as semantic barriers, psychological barriers, organizational barriers, and personal barriers. One more barrier is physiological barriers. So, we will discuss each barrier in detail. The first barrier is the semantic barrier. The semantic barriers refers to the misunderstanding between the sender and the receiver, which arises due to the different meanings of words and other symbols used in the communication. Let's realize if the sender and receiver has a differences due to the different meanings of the words. So it creates a semantic barriers. Badly expressed messages include like usage of symbols with different meanings, faulty translation, and unclarified assumptions. It also covers instances where a specific fields will involve technical jargons and it is misunderstood. Or when a person's body language and gesture decoding is misinterpreted. So, hence, in semantic barriers, we have issues with language proficiency, jargon and technical terms, usage of slang, cultural differences, ambiguities in the languages, abbreviations and acronyms, and even tone misinterpretation. So, a word might have different meaning in different languages, which can create a barrier. These are referred as semantic barriers. The next is what are psychological barriers to communication? Psychological barriers to communication, such as fear, prejudice, hinder open and empathetic dialogue, necessitating recognition and overcoming. Psychological barriers are internal problems that directly relate to the receiver, causing them to receive the message clearly but fail to understand and react to it properly. Psychological barrier is one of the main mind map. The examples listed for psychological barriers include like premature evaluation of a message, and due to a simple lack of attention from the receiver and even distrust. So these are the barriers which are directly related to some internal problem of the destination of the receiver. The receiver receives the message very clearly, but due to certain reasons, he fails to understand. The reasons for psychological barriers are defensive attitude caused by feeling attacked or criticized, lack of empathy caused by failure to understand others, information filtering caused by selective perception or bias, lack of trust caused by absence of trust among individuals, fear of judgment caused by concerns about negative evaluation. So, hence, these could be the reasons why a psychological barrier could arise. The next further is organizational barrier. In organizational barrier, we need to understand there are few factors related to the organization structure, authority relationships, and its various rules and regulations that can hinder effective communication, which includes certain specific examples as organizational barrier due to the organization's policy, its established rules and regulations, and the role of a status within a hierarchy, or the complexity in the organization structure and the availability of organizational facilities can also act as a barrier. Organizational barriers examples. Further examples include a hierarchical structure, a silo mentality where departments don't communicate, and resistance to change. Other issues are organizational policies, a lack of feedback mechanism, or even an outdated technology system. The final category is personal barrier, and we shall also discuss the physiological barrier. In a personal communication barrier is prejudiced assumptions about others, hindering objective understanding and fostering biased interactions, affecting relationships and overall communication effectiveness. Lack of objectivity, cultural differences, or even a fear factor, or it could include internal conversation or internal monologue, self talk, lack of objectivity, culture differences, discomfort in sensitive situations, values and beliefs. While not one of the four main types of barrier could arise, there are few more barriers like even physical barrier, so which we need to understand. So here in psychological barriers, we realize that the fear or a prejudice can be a reason for blockage of the understanding of the communication. Similarly, when it comes to physical barrier, this physical barriers are also understandable and important because they are related to the environmental or situational. Examples include a noisy factory environment, large open plan, offices, poorly lit conference room, and physical separations like high partitions between cubicles. Other physical barriers are simply distance, such as lengthy hospital corridors, distanced workstations, or being at remote field sites. Technical failures also fall here, like unreliable video conferencing equipment or language laboratories with faulty equipments. Hence, understanding these different barriers, such as semantic, psychological, organizational, personal, and physical, is the crucial first step to ensuring our communication is clear and effective. By recognizing the potential pitfalls, we can consciously work to overcome them. So, these are the few barriers of communication.